So here we are, we finally finished our front piece. This is what it looks like. If we zoom in, we can begin with our nice rib stitch, and then we have the nice center piece here. And then at the front, we have our neck area. We have the center part still attached to our stitch holder, which we're going to work on later on. Here is our armhole, and here is the second armhole, and of course we binded it off. Alright, so this is what your piece should look like right now. And what we're going to do next is begin the back. So for the back, it's essentially the same thing, except we're not going to be working the center piece. So we're going to be using this pattern here all the way through. We're going to begin with our rib stitches on a size 4mm knitting needle. Okay? So we're going to do the exact same thing. Start from here, work our way up, all the way to the neck area, to the armholes. We're going to create the armholes for the back, do the neck area for the neck, and then that'll be the back side. Okay, so I'm going to start at the bottom here with you guys with our 4mm sized knitting needles. So get those ready and let's begin. So here's our string, and we're going to start with our long tail cast on. So using your 4mm sized needles, you're going to cast on, if you're a small, 114 stitches, a medium 122, a large 134, an extra large 142, and an extra large 154 stitches onto your needle. So let's start with that. So for the long tail method, here's my 4mm size needles. I'm going to measure how much of a tail I need. So to do that, we're going to take our needle, we're going to wrap it around, and each wrap represents one stitch. So for me, because I'm doing a small, I need 114 stitches. I'm going to do it in increments of 25. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 3, 24, 25. Okay, so that's 25 stitches here. And that is going to show me, that's 25 stitches. So I need 114. So I need this length times 5. Okay, so that'll give me 125, which will be more than enough for the 114 that I need. Okay, so I'm going to take this, put it together. Okay, and that's 1. And I'm going to take the other side. So I'm going to take the needle. So I'm going to take the string. Pull them together till I get the two ends together. And we know that's 2 lengths of 25, so that's 50 stitches. Okay. All right, I'm going to do that again. So I'm going to take this, pull it over here to the end here. That's 3 lengths, 25, so that's 75. And I'm going to do it one more time to the end here. So that's 4 lengths of 25, so that's 100. And then we have one more to here. That's 5 lengths of 25, so that's 125 stitches. So that's how much tail we need. Okay? So now we can just mark the spot here and let the rest go. Okay? So that's 125 stitches. Now, I'm going to take this here. Keep your thumb on there. Don't lose that mark. I'm going to create a slip knot in this spot. Okay? So take it over, take your tail, this is our tail, this side is attached to the ball of yarn. Take your tail and pull it through like that to create a slip knot, and you're going to slip it onto your needle like so and pull it. Okay, so here we have our slip knot attached to the needle. To do our cast on, all we're going to do is take our tail right here, make an L with your hand, put the string like this, wrap it around like this, and make a crossover like that. Okay, insert your needle into the loop like that, hold the needle, take your string that's attached to the ball, wrap it around like you're doing a knit stitch, take your loop, pull it over, and pull the tail like that. That creates one stitch. Let's do that again. L, your thumb, wrap it around the thumb, make a cross, insert your needle into the hole like this, wrap the string around like you're doing a knit stitch, take your loop, pull it over, and pull the tail. Okay, that's 2. Do again 1, wrap it around, insert your hook, insert your needle, wrap the string around, put the loop around, pull the tail. It creates 3, and we can see our stitches forming already. Okay, one more time. 1, wrap it around, insert your needle, wrap it around the hook, put your loop around the needle and pull. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, 5. Pull. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? And that creates our nice stitches for our needle. So that's the long tail method. That's how I'm going to cast on. You can cast on however way you like. And for me, I'm going to cast on my 114. You'll cast on the amount that you require for your project if you're doing a small, medium, large, or extra large. Once you're done that, okay? So let's say we finished. Let's pretend we're done. What we're going to do is we're going to do a 2x2 rib stitch, starting with a knit. So you're going to take your other needle, insert it into here, your first stitch, and begin with a knit. Okay? 2 knits. 1, 2 knits, 2, and then we're going to do 2 purls. 1, okay, and 2. And then you're going to continue with 2 knits, 2 purls, 2 knits, 2 purls, all the way to the end. Okay, then once you're done that, you're going to turn your work around and begin with 2 purls. And then you're going to do 2 knits, 2 purls, 2 knits, 2 purls, all the way to the end. And you're going to turn your work around and repeat, and you're going to repeat to create the rib stitch that we did for the first panel. Okay, we're going to do the exact same thing. So I'm going to meet you at the end of your cast on, and at the end of your rib stitch, you're going to do the rib stitch, 2x2 rib stitch, for 5 centimeters. Okay, so do it for 5 centimeters, and I will meet you at the end of that step where we will work on the next part. Okay, so here we are. We finished our 5 centimeters. What we're going to do now is do one more row before we get into the pattern. Okay, so this next row I'm going to show you what to do. So pretend this is our piece. Okay, so far what we're going to do is I'm going to show you what to do for a small, and then I will give you the measurements for the rest of the medium, large, extra large, or extra large. But let's just show you what a small would have to do. Okay, right now I've ended off on this side, and what we're going to start off with is rib 8. So for this next row, we're going to continue the whole thing in a rib stitch like previously. Okay, and we're going to start with a rib 8. So the next 8 stitches, we're going to rib them like normal. Okay, once again, this is for a small. Then afterwards, we're going to rib 2 together. 2 together. Okay, so basically that's a decrease. And then afterwards, we're going to rib 6 and then rib 2 together 12 times. Okay, so here, rib 6 and then 2 together 12 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we're going to do this one 12 times. And then once we get to the end, we're going to rib 8. So that's what we're going to do for this row. For a small. For a medium, instead of 8, it's going to be 12 stitches. You're going to do a rib. Then you're going to rib 2 together. Then you're going to rib 6 and then rib 2 together for 12 times. And then you will rib 12. Okay, that's just for the small. Small, medium. Okay, that's what you're going to do. For a large, you are going to rib 10. Then you're going to rib 2 together. Then you're going to rib 6, rib 2 together 14 times. And then you will rib 10. Okay? So in the next 10 stitches, you will do your rib. So for an extra large, you will rib 14. Then you will rib 2 together, and then you will rib 6 and rib 2 together 14 times. Then you will rib 14. And finally, for an extra large, you will rib 12, rib 2 together, rib 6, rib 2 together 16 times. Then you will rib 12. Okay? So that's what we're going to do for this next row. Once we're completed that, we're going to turn our work around and begin working in the patterns. So the pattern is this. So we're not going to do the middle section. We're just going to work for the back, this thing all the way through, okay? So we're going to start to create this pattern once again. So it's the same process that we did before. So before we begin that pattern, once we've completed this, we're going to change our needles to 5mm size needles, okay? And once again, to change needles, all you have to do is here's our working needle and here's our new needle. If you're doing an interchangeable needle, just switch it off to a 5mm. If you're doing a regular type of needle, grab a 5mm needle. So this is still our 4mm needle. Let's pretend this is 5. So what you're going to do is take your new needle and just insert it and begin working your row. This is our old needle 4. This is our new needle 5, for example. And you're just going to begin knitting and purling like normal, okay? And what that's going to do is it's going to automatically bring your stitches onto the new size. And once we finished our first row, we can then change the remaining 4mm needle into a 5mm needle. Once you're ready to change your needles, we're going to begin the pattern. So the pattern, once again, it's the same thing. It's 2 knits, 2 purls, 2 knits, 2 purls, okay? And then once you've done your 2 knits, you're going to have 2 purls, 2 knits. Once you have 2 purls, you're going to do 2 knits and then 2 purls, right? So that's the pattern. So we're going to start round 1. So it's created in 4 rows. The first row, so once we've completed this, row number 1. Row number 1, we're going to start with a purl, okay? Then you're going to do a knit, purl, all the way through. You're going to turn your work. When you turn your work, you're going to look at your piece. What's your first stitch? If your first stitch is a purl, then you're going to know that you're going to have to create another purl. So you're going to do a purl. If your first stitch is a knit, then you know you're going to have to create another knit to create that too. You're going to work all the way to the end. You're going to turn your work around. So we're now on row 3. On row 3, if you look at your work and you see that you have 2 purls, then you know the first one you're going to do is a knit. Look at the next stitch. If you see you have 2 knits, then you're going to know that the next one will be a purl. And you work all the way to the end, and then finally you turn your work around. We are on our last row. Look at your first stitch. If you find that you have a knit, do another knit. If you find that you have a purl, do another purl to create 2 knits or 2 purls. Then we're going to continue pattern. So that is the pattern. Okay? So it's the same thing as before. We're going to work in this pattern until we have a total of 47 centimeters, ending with a wrong side row. So once again, 47 centimeters, including the bottom up here. Okay? So from here all the way up, 47 centimeters, just like how we did in the front. I will meet you at the end of 47 centimeters, where we will begin to shape the armholes.